my book, Heal Before You Read. And I'll be taking some questions live. It's going to be live Q&A sessions where I'll be taking some questions from you that you have sent on everything that concerns reading trauma, healing from reading trauma, and all whatnot. Hello, and I am Leslie Grace, the confidence coach. I help you master confidence, smartness through smart reading, smart thinking, smart speaking. You are welcome to this amazing, beautiful evening live session. And I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll be taking questions. I have a couple of questions. I think I have over 15 questions on reading trauma that I'll be taking today. Plus, I get to also take live questions from you. So, should you have questions to ask, then let's get into the conversation because I'll be responding to all of your questions today live. Hit the like button if you haven't hit the subscribe button. Share this live with someone who is bothered about reading trauma. You've been asking questions. What is reading trauma? Why do I know? What do I do? Why am I struggling with my reading? Can I be reading trauma? All of those questions. I'll be responding to all of them today. What you want to do now is to share this live with someone that should be here, and let's get right into the conversation. Let's go. So, I'll be doing a live reading of one of the latest books. There's a 5-in-1 bundle, my latest baby, by the way. And inside that bundle is a 5-in-1 healing from reading trauma books, guides. And then the interesting part is that I get to read one of those guides. Yes. And it's never been read by anyone, it's never been seen by anyone, never been heard of before. Heal Before You Read guide. And I'll be talking about reading through it today. I'll walk you through the 5 parts of this book, and then you choose the part that's the interesting part about a live reading, because you got to choose the part that will read, and then I just read you, walk you through it the way you would want to have it, right? But before that, I want to take a couple of the questions that you have been asking as regards everything about reading. Why are you struggling? Why are busy professionals struggling with their reading? And all those questions that you've been asking. So I'm going to go quickly into question number one. So stay put after the questions. Let's see how many we can take. This live is going to be for just 30 minutes. And I hope you know that recently our live sessions are now just for 30 minutes. Okay. So, and yes, don't forget that we go live Mondays to Fridays at 1 p.m. West African time. Yes. And then, so tomorrow we'll be here live at 1 p.m. West African time. We are here this evening. It's a beautiful Monday evening. And just to take a couple of the questions, right? Question number one for tonight. I'll just take a few, then I will go right into the live reading. So stay here. It's about 8 p.m. West African time. So stay here, stay here, stay here. Don't go anywhere. It's a beautiful down. I know, evening wind downs where you get to have book conversations and all whatnot. It's always beautiful. So stay here. I have this question here from a busy professional. And the question goes, why do I, Coach Leslie, why do I avoid reading but binge social media instead? This question is a very common question. In fact, at some point, I asked myself this question. Truth be said, I asked myself one day, why is it? Like I called myself to a meeting and I said, Grace, oh, by the way, can I be seen and heard though? Can I be seen? Let me know in the comment section that you can see and hear me clearly. Let me know in the comment section. Hi, hello, good evening, everybody. Okay, can I be seen and heard clearly in the comment section? Let me know. And I also asked myself this question at some point, why do I avoid reading? And I say things like I don't have the time. But here I am, binging on social media every back and forth. Let me say this. To answer this question, if you're that busy professional that sent me this question, listen to me. Your brain is choosing low friction stimulation. That's what's happening. That's because social media gives instant reward without depth, and which is what the brain of the average busy professional craves after a super duper busy day. Because reading requires presence, reading requires emotional investment, reading requires mental sanity and stability of some sort. And now, when the brain is overwhelmed, interestingly, it chooses what feels safer. So, what feels safer, right? What feels safer will be social media binging. So that's why your brain is going for social media binging each time instead of going for book binging. That's what's going on. Now, when the brain is overwhelmed, it chooses what feels safer. Healing from reading trauma is how you begin to rebuild the tolerance for depth. There's a tolerance that your brain needs to have to be able to get some depth. So reading doesn't feel like a threat anymore. The reason you keep avoiding books and going for social media instead is because somewhere in between wanting to read And going for social media binging instead is a wanting, a longing inside of you to not go for depth, to just go for what feels easy and safer. And did you know that reading can actually feel easy and safer when you heal from reading trauma? So the problem is not the books. The problem is not because social media is there. Social media has always been there and may always be there. But the real issue is you need to heal from reading trauma so that reading begins to feel safe again. You don't have to do it by force, fear, or failure. It begins to feel normal, just the way your social media binging looks and feels normal. Question two for tonight. I hope I answered that question. I hope that I hope that helps. I know it does. Number two, why do I lose what I read so quickly, even when I try to take notes? Hmm. This is a question a busy professional sent. Now, I want you to understand that memory doesn't fail because of speed. Memory fails when the brain is tensed. That is why the last time you were panicked and someone was trying to talk to you in that tension, you can't remember. You left there a few minutes away and you couldn't remember Jack. The brain doesn't remember anything when it's tensed. Dear busy professional, if books make you panic, if books make you feel like you're under tension, pressure, they're forcing you to do what you don't want to do on your own, you are feeling tensed by books. The truth is that stress blocks consolidation. Every time you choose to read without healing from reading trauma, you're forcing your brain to read under stress. Now, inside the healing from reading trauma course, we take away the stress. We take away the memory block first because there's obviously a memory block. We take that away so that retention can improve naturally without overforcing or trying to force recall. You don't have to overnote. That's what I see most professionals do. They pick a book, they pick a journal, they overnote, they make too much of notes. So you need to stop that circle of overnoting or forcing recall. Hmm. I hope this helps. I hope this answers that question for you. I have a third question, and I'm trying so hard to take as many questions as I can so that we can see much as we can do. And if you can still see and hear me, let me know that you can still see and hear me. I think it's better this way. Like I feel a lot better this way. Okay. I hope that you can still see and hear me clearly. Right and good. Okay. You can. Great. Number three, question number three that I have here. Why do I only read when there is pressure? Oh, hi, Mr. Chris. You are here in the building. So good to have you here, sir. How was your day? It's so good to have you coming here, even after such a healthy day. Thank you for joining me today. Number three, this professional is asking me this question. So I got a couple of questions and I said to collect them all and answer them tonight, as well as do a little bit of a live reading from the one of the guides in our latest 5-in-1 bundle, the Healing from Reading Trauma bundle, the Heal Before You Read guide. I'll be reading it from the part that you desire. There are about 5 parts in that book. So you choose at the end of the questions. Let's see how many questions we can take in the few couple of minutes that we have. Then we'll take some few minutes to do the, but don't panic. We won't do more than 30 minutes. It's a promise. Thank you. Why do I only read when there is pressure or an extreme deadline? Is that you? This was me. I can relate to this one. The former me can relate. If there's no deadline, don't call me. I'm not reading. Why are you forcing me? Let me be, please. Let me have some fun. There's no deadline. Nobody is under panic. There's no master's exams to go for. So ain't reading nothing. Now, let me tell you why this happens. Because the human brain has been trained to respond to external control. If reading wasn't normal for you growing up, if you were forced, you were made to read under fear, under conditions of fear, you were meant to read under trying to manage or handle failure, either to prevent it or to handle a past failure, without reading just being something that's it's somewhat of a lifestyle. That means that your brain has been trained to read and respond. So your brain is trying to read as a response to external control, not internal readiness. That's what's happening. So it means that without pressure, it doesn't know how to self initiate. And that's the bad part about reading trauma. And that's why, as parents, as busy professionals, one thing you want to do is you get healing from reading trauma. Get into a space where reading is something you do by accountability, by fun, where reading is a lifestyle for you because you will be saving a generation. You'll be saving a generation that can self initiate reading. That's one thing we've lost in this generation. People, nobody is self initiating reading. It's now by force. So even when they're giving you the reasons why you're, oh no, nobody should force me. I don't, nobody's forcing you, sir. It is all from your head. You're the only one thinking they're forcing you. Hmm. Healing from reading trauma is a shift that you need. Because the healing from reading trauma helps you shift from reading from obligation to choice. I dream of a generation that will read by choice, not from obligation. I dream, I crave. My mandate on this earth is to raise that generation that will read by choice, which is where sustainable habits live. Habits live and exist over and over again, years down the line, when it is built by choice, not by obligation. I hope that helps. I have another question here, and I'm going to read another professional send me this question. Dear Coach Leslie, why does reading trigger frustration instead of curiosity now? Hmm. Hmm. So this person, I believe, was someone who was reading before now, and he or she is just wondering why does it feel like a source of frustration now? And I'll explain. Frustration appears when expectation outruns capacity. There's a certain expectation you have. You've been hearing that people do a book a week. You've been hearing that people do 12 books a month. You haven't read books in years. You woke up 2026, 2nd of January, and you said, boom, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. You set a huge goal for yourself. The truth is that that expectation of yours is good, but does it outrun your capacity? What is your capacity? What is the state of your brain to handle books? Have you healed from reading drama? Now, don't fly. Let me rephrase that. Do not rush into a speed reading masterclass when you haven't healed from reading trauma. Because there's a way I say it, safety first before speed and storage. Safety. You cannot take a car that isn't safe, that is not in good condition, and you say this car should run at 250. Or you put a car on a highway and you say, just fly this car. There are going to be issues. We have seen most auto accidents. We've seen accidents here and there. What causes accident is not the absence of speed or storage. Most of the times, these cars are full with humans, full with products everywhere, but they still have, because of what? Safety. The car wasn't safe to drive. There's something pilots say safe to fly. The car wasn't safe, or the airplane or the whatever means of transportation you use wasn't fit, wasn't safe. So when you see frustration, frustration is a sign that expectation is beyond capacity. Please write it down. When some people say, oh, they are frustrated in their marriage, the question you should be asking them is, what did you expect? Because it means that they had an expectation that was beyond the capacity of their spouse and themselves and then their marriage and maybe the season of their marriage per time. Well, I'm just using marriage as an example. I'm not a marriage coach. So let me move. So your desire to grow, your desire, can I be seen and heard? I understand that my network is a bit glitchy now. Can I be seen and heard? Okay, great. Thank you. You can see and hear me. Thank you. So that's what happens when you make when frustration shows, when you see frustration appear, just know that expectation is outrunning capacity. So, what is happening with you, and the reason why reading is beginning to trigger frustration for you instead of curiosity, is because your desire to grow is intact, but your mental bandwidth is not capable enough. Your mental bandwidth doesn't have the capacity enough. So, the good news is that the healing from reading trauma course aligns your desire with capacity so that curiosity cannot be cannot be stifled. Because if you try to be curious and you have not fixed capacity, you will not be able to survive. You're going to stifle curiosity. Okay? So fix it. Get into the healing from reading trauma course and get healing. Sorry, please. Okay. Hmm. Next question. Sorry about that. I hope I'm clear now. And I can see and be heard. Next question. How do I read again without turning it into another self-improvement burden? Dear busy professional, yes, this is your turn. Let us talk to you. Let us talk to you, dear busy professional. Reading should not be turned into another self improvement burden. That's why most of us are struggling with reading. Hey, Cynthia. Hi. So good to have you here. So good to have you here. Hit the subscribe button. You would love it in here. We go live Mondays to Fridays at 1 p.m. West African time for what we call the Smart Shot Break series. And it happens Mondays to Friday. We share everything about confidence and smartness through smart reading, smart thinking, smart speaking. If that's what you want for yourself to be confidently smart in today's world, then this channel should be where you should be. Subscribe to and join us Mondays to Fridays, 1 p.m. West African time for free. Okay, so this question, a busy professional asked me this question: how do I read again without turning it into another self-improvement burden? Now, let me answer you. Stop reading to fix yourself. Yes, I know you love reading, and you're wondering why would God say I should stop reading to fix myself? Dear busy professional, stop reading to fix yourself. When reading becomes a repair tool for your identity, your brain will resist it. Stop reading to fix yourself. Stop reading to fix yourself. What if you are feeling like, oh, I want to read because there's an identity I need to fix with my reading? Then you need to heal from reading trauma because your brain would keep on resisting it. And that's why you see that every time you pick up a book, it feels like it's a burden. It feels like, yes, you want to improve yourself, but the reading is not beginning to look like a self improvement burden. The good news is that the healing from reading trauma course will restore reading as a supportive experience. So it gives you the support that you need without becoming a self judgment exercise. So there are two things. If reading is feeling like a self improvement burden, that's because you're trying to read from a place of self judgment, not support. Take the healing from reading trauma course. Anytime you see yourself judging you, it's because there's a wound, there's an injury somewhere. And what you need to do is to heal. I hope that helps. Next question: why do I feel anxious when I sit down to read after a long work day? I know we can guess the answers. And while I'm taking these questions, right? If these questions do you still have questions that are beyond this, then you want to put in the comment section. I would definitely take your questions. I would love to. And then in a few minutes, I will be reading the guide, Heal Before You Read. One of our latest babies, by the way. All right. Why do I feel anxious when I sit down to read after a long work day? That's simple. But anyway, I get it. You need more clarity. That's why you're asking. I'll answer you. This happens because your brain associates reading with performance, not relaxation. So your brain doesn't think. that reading is something you should relax for. Again, most of us think that reading is not for fun, it's not for pleasure. And that's why one of the guides you'll be getting when you join the Healing for Reading Trauma course is the Pleasure Reading Planner. One of my assignments on the earth is to make reading pleasurable, is to make it something that busy professionals see as pleasure. Because after a long day, mental load is high already as a busy professional. Reading has become another task for you. If you have not been healed of reading trauma and you're not seeing reading, you know what I talked about? Self judgment? Aha. And self supportive experience? Yes. When you heal from reading trauma, you begin to see reading as something that you can do for relaxation. So even if it's a long day, you can still read. But when your brain has interpreted reading as something that you do when it is a task, a performance, you've not healed from those traumatic experiences from your past, join the Healing from Reading Trauma course. In that course, we'll help you see reading as safe, not stressful, so you can enjoy it again. I hope this helps you. Next question. Why do I remember work details better than anything I read? Dear busy professional, let me see this. Your brain prioritizes what it perceives as urgent. So your brain is considering work as urgent and so is prioritizing it. Of course, we know that work is survival, but books are optional to many busy professionals. Your brain doesn't see books as survival. Listen, books, that's what they are meant to be seen as. If you can live, you can read. Do you know what the Bible says about Jesus? He says, as his custom was, he stood up but for to read. Hey, as his custom was, as a pattern of his lifestyle, as a lifestyle, unarguably, as a pattern. You can only live and see reading as survival and as a pattern only when you have healed from reading trauma. The Bible says that his custom was, he stood up to read. Is it your custom to read? When is your custom to read? You'll be able to remember the details from what you read. The problem is that it is not your custom. Work is your custom. Work is survival to you, so you remember. But the good news is that when you join the Healing from Reading Trauma course, your brain allocates focus and memory to reading. So what you read actually sticks. If you want to join the Healing from Reading Trauma course, the details is on the screen right now. And if you just put in the comment section, if you're catching replay, just put in the comment section heal, and we will send you details to get access to the Healing from Reading Trauma course. Let's take the next question. Why do I feel distracted by small things whenever I try to read? There goes Leslie. Why the distractions? Distractions are simply your brain's way of protecting itself from a work or an effort that is not ready for. Period. Now, healing from reading trauma teaches you strategies to gently. It teaches you strategies to gently build attention span so that distractions no longer hijack your reading sessions. Your brain just sees reading as, hey, no, no, no. But the good news is that the Healing from Reading Trauma course can help you. So put in the comment section heal. I hope I'm not missing any comment. Okay. Put in the comment section heal and you'll get access to the Healing from Reading Trauma course. And if you know busy professionals like you who are struggling with this, share this life with them. Share this life with them. Tell them to join the Healing from Reading Trauma course. As of today, you can still get a further early bird discount. If you're watching the replay of this, the Healing from Reading Trauma course happens it begins on the 29th of January 2026 to the 31st. It's going to be 3 days. It's going to be evenings like this, and you can always catch replay to the class. Plus, you get the 5-in-1 bundle. The 5-in-1 bundle alone is way more than 15,000 naira. But as of today, the Healing from Reading Trauma course is still at for just 9,999. The 5-in-1 bundle is double that price, and you're getting it for free. I don't want to talk about the course. I don't want to talk about a thriving community where you can actually get to meet people like you who are on this journey. We can get to heal. I'll take one more question, then I'll do the live reading. Okay. Finally, this question. I couldn't take all the questions. I still have a long list. Okay, let's see. Maybe I'll take a few questions tomorrow. I don't want this live to go on 30 minutes. Why does reading feel like a chore even when I pick books I love? And I'm going to answer this straight. Your brain can't separate pleasure from pressure if reading hasn't been linked to healing. If reading has been linked to self judgment in time past, they hit you, they forced you, they put fear in you, you failed in reading, your brain can no longer separate pleasure from pressure. Your brain cannot. So it is just feeling like, oh, this book again is they want to judge me. No, no, it's pressure. No, it's pressure. Even when you love a book and you know that book will give you pleasure, your brain just says no, no, no. Now the interesting thing is that the healing from reading trauma course retrains your mind to begin to enjoy books again without the weight of obligation. I hope I've been able to take some questions that are pressing in your heart. I stopped at I think I was able to take up to 10 questions or 12 questions tonight. I still have a couple. I still have over 10 unanswered questions, but it's okay. I'm going to be stopping here. Maybe tomorrow I will take a few more questions. So tomorrow we'll do another live reading and then I'll take questions, then a live reading tomorrow. So let's stop here so I can do the live reading. Okay, so the book, The Heal Before You Read, has 5 parts. I'm going to name them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in the comment section, you can just put the number you want and then I'll read it out loud. Number 1 is Safety Nest. Part 2 is The Mirror. Part 3 is The Pause. Part 4 is Safety First, Storage Next. And then part 5, Now That You Are Safe. So